sports.
We are Baltimore. We are South.
Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I never get back, 'cause it's root for the home team. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game.
Well, welcome everybody. We got the Sunday afternoon special for you here at SunTrust Park. Atlanta Braves hooking up with the Cincinnati Reds. Yeah, we need this one. Big lefty Sean Newcomb on the mound. He's looking for his second big league win. But how about Brandon Phillips last night? Absolutely dazzling in the 14 home games. Look at that average last night with 2 barehanders. Got 3 big hits. A lot of smiles. He does everything with razzle dazzle. But let's not forget about his teammate from Cincinnati. Used to play there. Joey Votto, season 447 on base percentage. That's good to lead all of the National League. He is a very tough out with a sweet swing. We've got him a few times. Chip and Joe got the call next.
Hyundai Sunday on Fox Sports South is presented by your local Hyundai dealers. Baseball is brought to you by Xfinity. Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV. And by Delta Airlines.
It truly is a lazy, hazy day of summer here at SunTrust Park in Atlanta. It is 89 degrees, humidity rising, forecast for sunny skies. There are a few puffy clouds overhead SunTrust Park, but certainly the warmest of our 3 days with the Cincinnati Reds in town. And speaking of red hot, that's exactly what Cincinnati has been. They've won the first 2 games, a trend Sean Newcomb hopes to stop in the series finale today.
Sean Newcomb makes his 13th big league start, 23 years old, 6'5", 255, but still looking for that first win here at SunTrust Park. 0-6, almost double the ERA that he has shown on the road, and a higher batting average. So he'll want to improve on that today, especially in the win column. His 4 keys to pitching success, well, he needs to pitch better against left-handed hitters. Oddly, his splits, he has a higher average against him by lefties, a 270 mark, but only 1 home run allowed, and they've got some good lefties in their lineup today. All of them have power. Stay down. He was really good down in the zone in Coors Field in his last start when he got a no decision. Probably should have got a win against the Rockies, but 6 strong innings, 8 strikeouts. He did give up 3 homers, but he was down in the zone all day, and he's going to need to do that today.
Cincinnati has swung hot bats in this series. They're looking for their first series sweep since June 5th through the 8th, when they took care of the St. Louis Cardinals in sweep fashion. Billy Hamilton leads off the Toyota starting 9. Joey Votto's one of those dangerous left-handed bats you talked about a moment ago. Duvall, Suarez, Jeanette, all with home run power. Scooter hit a grand slam here last night. Schebler at right, Barnhart the catcher, and we're all looking forward to seeing Luis Castillo, who's come out of nowhere to be arguably the best Cincinnati pitching prospect on their 25-man roster right now. So Newcomb's ready to go. So's Billy Hamilton, who's 2 for 10 in the series. And the first one is off the mask of Tyler Flowers, and we're underway. A strike.
Hey, how about that gear? Wow. Star Spangled Banner protector. Love it.
Hamilton bangs that one foul, and he's quickly behind, 0-2. Hamilton at 246 on the year. He strikes out a lot, 114 of them, and only 36 walks, but 51 stolen bases. This one's hit in the air to right. That's exactly how you want Hamilton to hit the ball, softly the other way, and he's retired to start the game. Last night was not a picture of defensive excellence for either club. There were 4 combined errors in the game. Hopefully Atlanta will have their A game with the leather. Freeman, Albies, Swanson, and Phillips around the horn. Matt Adams gets the scheduled start for Matt Kemp. Matt coming back from the hamstring. Don't want to play him day game after night game. Figure Matt will be in there all 3 against Seattle starting tomorrow night. A strike to Jose Peraza. Zach Cozart still unable to go after he was hit on the shin by a pitch the other night. He was limping around the Reds locker room before the game yesterday. That's still very sore, I'm sure. It's been an injury-plagued year for Brian Price's shortstop. So Peraza gets his 2nd consecutive start against the Braves.
The Cincinnati team reminds me a lot of the Atlanta Braves. They've got a good, solid lineup. They've got some veterans in the middle of their lineup that are having tremendous years. And if they get some pitching going forward, they'll be in the mix next year in the Central.
That's hit toward first. Freeman retreats, makes the play behind the bag. Peraza is out number 2. Well, the Reds have 53 wins. The Braves have 54 wins so far this year. That's somewhat surprising when you consider all the pitching problems and injuries that the Cincinnati club has had this year. They've used 25 pitchers, 14 different starters. And today, 3 rookies in as many games start in this series for them.
And the Mariners come in here tomorrow night, and they're kind of in a similar state. They've used a ton of guys in the rotation.
Number I read about Seattle, Joe, I think they've used 37 different pitchers this year.
It's supposed to be the most since their very first year of existence in '77. Well, Sean's working quick. Love it.
Like it. Joey Votto, 3 for 9 in the series. He scored 3 runs and he struck out 4 times. .32 homers for the Cincinnati first baseman. Power and patience, his calling cards at the plate. Took that one for an even count. Nick Marley is the home plate umpire who made his major league debut just a few days ago. As a big league ump, he's from the Pacific Coast League. And was the home plate umpire for the AAA All-Star game. So congratulations to Mr. Marley. He's a fill-in call-up umpire from AAA. And he's got the plate today.
Three and two. Votto will be looking fastball all the way. Let's see if Sean feels like throwing that hook. 3-2.
Votto right on top of the plate, chokes up. And it was a breaking ball, and Votto takes another walk. That's number 101 for Joey Votto, and it comes with 2 outs. That's only the 9th left-handed batter that Newcomb has walked as a Brave. But it's his 38th base on balls in 65 innings. So here's Adam Duvall. Duvall's had himself an excellent series. 4 hits, a home run. He scored 3 times. That's popped over the Braves dugout and headed for the second deck.
Probably an out in Oakland.
Yes. Not much foul ground here at SunTrust Park. I'm sure that there's a stat somewhere that would be able to tell us this. I would venture to guess that there have been fewer pop-ups in foul ground for outs in this park than any other in the major leagues.
I'd go along with that.
There's a hook and a pretty one. Duvall took it. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Got him over the inside corner. Newcomb froze Duvall. Good live fastball earns him his first strikeout in the game, and the Reds are done in the top of the first inning. is in town for Alumni Weekend and Hank Aaron Heritage Weekend, and he's leading the first chop of the day today here at SunTrust Park.
Terrific player. And one of my very first teammates when I first signed with the Dodgers. This is Luis Castillo. He's going to have a lot of teammates through the years with the Reds if he keeps pitching like he's been pitching. 2-5, but a 3.39 ERA, a strikeout per inning. The thing that grabbed my attention, a 2.12 average against him. Was pitching great at Double-A, had a 2.05 ERA there. Good live fastball, mid-90s. Outstanding changeup that he keeps down in the zone, and a slider.
And that pitch missed inside to Ender, who's 2 for 10 in this series and batting .298 for the year. Ender tried to bunt that ball, tailed away from him, and he missed it. 1-2 the count. And Ender is down on strikes, a 96-mile-an-hour rising fastball. So that's how the game starts for the Braves. Brandon Phillips, Freddie Freeman second and third on the Toyota starting lineup. Nick Markakis hits fourth, Flowers fifth. Matt Adams is the Atlanta left fielder. Albies, Swanson, and Newcomb seventh, eighth, and ninth.
You know, Chip, every time the Braves played the Marlins this year and Dan Straley pitched, we kept saying, how in the world could the Reds let this guy go? You know, what did they get for him? Well, we're getting to see evidence of that today, and he looks like a beauty.
A fly by Phillips out of play. Castillo started the year as the Marlins' second-rated prospect, and he was one of 3 players that Cincinnati got for Dan Straley. And Castillo was not originally a Marlin. He's already on his 3rd organization. He was originally a signee by the Giants, who acquired Casey McGee in exchange for Castillo, and then Castillo was flipped to Cincinnati. And some of that for the Miami club, obviously out of, I don't want to say desperation, but dire need. After Jose Fernandez was killed, they needed starting pitching, and Straley was an established major league guy, and Miami's very happy with what Straley's given them. But he's not a power arm like this guy with a terrific fastball combo mix. Back-to-back strikeouts.
That was a straight changeup. It wasn't straight, but it was his change.
Castillo averaging a strikeout per inning pitched. He's got his first 2 outs via punch out, and he's ahead of Freddie Freeman with a strike.
His last time out against the Cubs, he threw a 2-hit shutout over 6 innings. Walked 2, struck out 7. Wow. Another changeup dying away.
Yeah, we were told before the game he will throw that pitch back to back to back if it's working. See if he triples up here. Freeman covers an 0-2 pitch and drives it to left, but Duvall to the edge of the track is there. And Castillo has an 11 pitch and perfect home first. We go to the second, no score. Atlanta. No score. Reds and Braves after 1 inning. Sean Newcomb for Atlanta. Luis Castillo for Cincinnati. Chip and Joe, welcome back to the ballpark. Time for the Braves to get to the win column. But looks like they're going to have their hands full because the Reds have found themselves a talented right-handed pitcher.
Yeah, that first run today might be very valuable to either side. Sean Newcomb had a good first inning also. And it's fun to watch young rookies go at it head-to-head, see who comes out on top when they match up. Both guys throwing hard.
Newcomb's allowed 1 base runner. That was the walk to Joey Votto. Nothing came of that in the first inning. Now he'll face Cincinnati's third baseman, Eugenio Suarez, who's 2 for 7 with a homer in the series. I like it when Sean throws his fastball. I know he's got a good breaking ball, but we have seen so many late or mistimed swings from opposing hitters. He must be sneaky quick. Like that.
Yeah, and they'll chase it up out of the zone too.
And as we've seen so many times with Newcomb, the offensive splits when he gets ahead versus behind in the count are staggering. Fly ball hit toward left. That's going to get down in front of Matt Adams. Suarez covers an 0-2 pitch and has the first hit of the day.
It was the third straight fastball, and since he'd only foul tipped 1 of the first 2, they stayed with it, and he jumped on it. Remember, he hit a home run off of R.A. Dickey on an 0-2 count in the first game of the series.
So Cincinnati's leadoff man is on in the second. That brings up Scooter Gennett, one of those Reds left-hand hitters. What a story this guy has been. 21 homers, 75 knocked in, and hitting .292. Mentioned he's hit 4 grand slams for his career. He's hit 3 of them this year. Runner goes. The throw to second is going to be in plenty of time. Suarez is caught stealing for the first time this year. And a perfect throw from Tyler Flowers erases Suarez, who led off with a hit.
Boy, what a great quick release by Tyler. No chance for Suarez. That was a good play.
So Newcomb can go right back to the windup here with an even count. And that went all the way to the brick wall and out of the strike zone. 2 balls and a strike. Might see the Reds swinging a bit early in the count. They are road weary, folks. The Reds are wrapping up a stretch of 37 games in 38 days.
Boy, I didn't know that.
They had an off day on July 24th. They have an off day tomorrow before they open up a long homestand with the Cubs, Pirates, and the Mets. Two and two for Scooter Gennett. And strike 3 outside corner. There's that fastball. He's frozen Duvall. He's frozen Gennett. And he's frozen them on the glove side of the plate.
Love Marley's strikeout call. His ring up. Quick. Yeek.
Now he just needs to add in a have a seat mon.
Well, Jerry Newdecker always had the best one.
Which was?
Well, it was supposed to be strike 3.
Uh-huh.
Or it was supposed to sound like strike, but it was take a hike.
Really? Yeah. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Love the guys behind the plate that let you know quickly, give you location, and have a little bit of pizzazz when they ring a guy up. Tom Hallion's my current favorite. He lets you know right away. As Scott Schebler hits, he was activated yesterday when Scott Feldman went to the DL for the Reds, and Schebler's one of 5 Reds with 20 or more homers this year. 23 to be exact. And he entered the game last night and had 3 hits and scored 2 runs. Now, you're talking about Newdecker's strike zone, right?
Mm-hmm.
You heard that from other teammates. He never rung you up, of course. I mean, that'd be...
No, you could hear it all over the ballpark.
Right.
Whether it was you or not. One of the last guys to use the balloon chest protector, too.
The 1-2 pitch is chopped off the plate, but that'll roll foul into the third base coach's box. Schebler will head back to the plate. .32 pitches so far for Newcomb. That's about his average. He's right around 18 pitches per inning. And Holman's fouled off Schebler's foot.
Just came off the disabled list with a sore shoulder. Got hit in the leg in his first pinch hit appearance the other night. And now fouls one off his toe.
That's hit toward Freddie Freeman. He's got a big hop. He'll take it to the bag, and Newcomb gets the Reds in the second inning. No score. Markakis, Flowers, and Matt Adams are coming up. Scoreless game, bottom of the second inning. Pretty afternoon with the Braves and Reds squaring off. And the old saying, can't tell the players without a media guide, applies for R.A. Dickey, who's catching up on some light dugout reading today.
Yeah, he's not able to read a book during the game, and he loves to read. So he's checking out his opponents.
RA's next start will come Wednesday against the Mariners, who are in town next.
Looked like he was kind of up in the front of the Reds media guy, probably looking at Castillo.
Can't say as I blame him. A lot to like after an impressive 11-pitch first inning with 2 strikeouts. And a swing and a miss.
This guy last year was at Jupiter virtually the whole year. A-ball. I think they were then known as the Hammerheads, which is a cool name. and he was the Marlins and the Florida State League Pitcher of the Year. Marlins minor league pitcher of the year. He went 8-4, led the league with a 2.07 ERA in the Florida State League. Pretty good.
So he rose rapidly, and as you said, the Reds have brought him up, and today he's making his 12th start, and he missed outside for Markakis. 3-1 the count.
12th start for him, 13th start for Newcomb.
And both these guys have been thrown right into the fire. You look at Castillo, he's faced the Cardinals, the Nationals twice, Arizona twice, and he's pitched at Colorado and at Wrigley Field. He's 2-5 with a .339 earned run average. And that's inside. Nick Markakis takes a walk. That's a leadoff free pass. Something that has bothered Castillo from time to time in his brief Reds career. That's his 29th walk in 67 innings.
Well, he had a 2.07 ERA last year in A-ball. This year in Double-A, which is where he got called up from at Pensacola, he had a 2.05 ERA. Pretty stingy.
So let's see how he fares out of the stretch for the first time. Tyler Flowers greets him here in the second. And that one all the way to the backstop. Barnhart handles the ricochet but won't have a throw. Markakis moves up and stands at second, standing up. It scored a wild pitch.
As a base runner here at SunTrust Park, you've got to be ready for these. I mean, you can't assume it's just going to go to the backstop and the catcher's got to go all the way back there to get it. The way it ricochets off that wall, you better hustle.
Last night was one of the few times where one didn't come back, and it cost the Braves a run. So here's a spot for Tyler Flowers. At the very least, he wants Markakis at third base with Matt Adams coming up. As you said, as hard as these two pitchers are throwing, an early run will be a very big run, potentially. That hit Tyler Flowers, and the carom knocked off the mask of Tucker Barnhart. So a walk, a wild pitch, and a hit batsman has Castillo in the soup, and Matt Adams is coming up. And this is the last thing the Reds want to see, because Matt Adams has single-handedly destroyed Reds pitching this year.
Must have hit that wing on his mask. Yep. It protects the ears of the catchers. Matt came off the bench last night. 3-run shot. And started a big rally for the Braves. It came up a little short.
Matt Adams has 18 homers. 5 of them have come against the Reds. And he jumps the first pitch, pops it up out of play, strike one.
Well, he's the first left-handed hitter to actually make contact on the first pitch on that first fastball, and that was 98. For Tyler Flowers, 16th time he's been hit by a pitch. Came right back with the changeup.
So Castillo quickly ahead, 0-2.
This is what makes a guy like Castillo so tough. He got the changeup, and you know he's going to throw it 0-2, but you can't afford the luxury of just looking for it 0-2 because he throws 96 to 98, and there's no way to adjust if that's what he throws instead of the changeup.
Two balls, two strikes. Braves had some early chances to score last night. They left 5 men on base in the first 3 innings and 13 in total. They've got 2 on, nobody out here for Adams. Markakis and Flowers the runners. Here it comes. Play.
Trying to stay away from that pitch down and in that he golfed out of here is in the first game. Last night was a pitch up and out over the plate that he went around. But they definitely don't want to go down and in and risk that.
So Matt Adams has battled back to a 3-2 count.
Good cut.
Here's more proof positive that a major league hitter can cover 98 if he sees it enough. Had that one squared up, just got under it and fouled it away. Change up and a beauty. Adams swung through it. That's 3 strikeouts for Castillo. A 3-2 changeup to Matt Adams struck him out.
It's a great equalizer. And I mean, he just threw it for a strike right down the middle. Very similar to the one that he threw to Brandon Phillips. Dies at the plate. Great equalizer.
Ozzie Albies hitting a .186, couple of homers, 7 RBIs. And a little late.
Now Pedro Martinez is in the Hall of Fame from throwing mid-90s and up gas, having one of the best change-ups ever, and his breaking ball. His breaking ball was good too, but that fastball change-up combination made him hard to beat. Of course, he learned that changeup from his brother Ramon, who was in the big leagues before Pedro. Castillo's from the Dominican Republic, 6'2", 190.
Now the 0-2 pitch for Albies is skied foul left side. Good crowd here this afternoon. Fans down the right field line under the 90-foot canopy enjoying the shade. Folks down the left field side of the park in the bright sunshine or underneath the cantilevered stands. 0-2. Struck him out. Fastball at 98 miles an hour. So as the situation's gotten dicier, Castillo's gotten better. 4 strikeouts. And Dansby Swanson's the batter. His bat's coming to life again.
Strikeout high for Castillo is 9. And that was in his second start against Milwaukee.
And in for a strike. Here's that hot streak for Dansby Swanson, our Georgia lottery feature.
Last 8 games really bumped his average up with the 346 mark there. He's walked a lot too, so his on base percentage is a lot better. I mean, to tell you, the ball is flying out of this guy's hand.
That's pulled foul at third base. And Dansby's down to his last strike. 1-2 your count.
The scouting report we got on Castillo was that you would know right away if he was going to have a good day by his command. If he's throwing his pitches for strikes, getting ahead in the count. Well, he's doing that.
Here's the stretch and the 1-2 pitch way outside. Nice stab by Barnhart.
Sure was. Catching his 3rd straight game.
Yanked down the third base line. Good cut by Swanson. But he pulled it foul. Over but low, and Dansby's forced a full count. At the very least, he'd love to get on base and clear Sean Newcomb.
And with the way Votto is playing, which is kind of surprising given how hard Castillo's pitching, Votto's way off the line at first base. That gives Tyler Flowers more than just a head start.
So the runners go, and the pitch cut on and missed. Another off-speed delivery, and Castillo just struck out the side. He's got 5 strikeouts in his first 2 innings, and the Braves strand a pair in the second.
Let's go places. And SunTrust.
Chip and Joe with you from Atlanta. Good pitching on display. Sean Newcomb has matched Luis Castillo with a couple of zeros in the first 2 innings. In the Cincinnati third, Tucker Barnhart, Castillo, and Hamilton are coming up on a day where you might see a lot of people fanned.
I know I would be down there.
So far, 2 full innings, 7 combined strikeouts. 2 by Newcomb, 5 by Castillo. Sean looking for his first home win here at SunTrust Park. He's 0-6. So the Iron Man, Tucker Barnhart's back in harness today. He's up to 266 for the year. And 5 home runs. Switch hitting catcher. And he jumps all over the first one and has another leadoff hit. That's the second Cincinnati leadoff man to reach. And a chance for Castillo to lay down a bunt.
The more you see Barnhart, the more you like him, don't you?
Yes, sir.
I mean, what an asset to have a guy that's a switch hitter, too. Fastball at the knees. Combed it to left.
So Tucker Barnhart, he's a Hoosier. Lives in Zionsville, Indiana. Went to Brownsburg, Indiana High School.
Brownsburg. There's another player from there, isn't there?
There's the bunt. Freeman looks to second, fires there in time, and that's all Atlanta gets. Castillo's bunt snuffed out by Freddie Freeman, who got the force play.
Freddie's got a great arm, as we saw when he got to play third base a little bit. Put himself in a good position to spin and throw, and gave Dansby a good throw.
I think that other player from Brownsburg is Drew Storen.
Well, I was thinking about the third baseman that played for the Reds and the Cardinals.
Todd Frazier?
No. Scott Rowland. Thank you. Was a great basketball player in high school. He's going to come to the University of Georgia and play. Scott Rowland.
Really? Didn't know that. As of 2014, Brownsburg had 5 players total in Major League Baseball, the NFL, and NBA.
Wow.
And Brian Woodrum, our Hoosier in chief, tells us that Scott Rowland is from Evansville, which is where Don Mattingly is from.
Rowland's from Jasper, Indiana. He was from a little town and just scored like 70 or 80,000 points in basketball.
So Drew Storen, Lance Lynn, and Tucker Barnhart from Brownsburg. Gordon Hayward in the NBA, and Chris Jones, who at the time of this article was published was a defensive end for the Patriots.
It's pretty good stuff.
Yeah.
Way to go, Brownsburg.
Here's Billy Hamilton, and a liner into shallow right center field. That's going to drop for a hit. Ender got to it quickly, but Castillo's at second, and Billy Hamilton's aboard with his 3rd hit of the series. So Jose Peraza's coming up. He bounced out to Freddie Freeman in the Reds' first inning. So Newcomb with his first bit of trouble. 2 on, 1 out.
Jose can hit, and he's always been able to hit in the minor leagues. Most of that with the Atlanta Braves organization. He hit .299 since he's been in the big leagues with the Dodgers and the Reds. Coming into this season, a .312 career major league average. 263 at bats, and this year he's hitting .262 coming into this game. Last year seems to me played a lot of second base for the Reds when we saw him.
3 balls, no strikes. That's right there. In fact, he played so well last season, hitting over 300 in 72 games. That's what made Brandon Phillips an expendable part for Cincinnati. It's a deal that's worked out well for Atlanta. As that just missed. Flowers thought it was good enough, and Newcomb has issued his second walk of the game. And now you've got real trouble because the bases are loaded for Joey Votto, and you know how patient he is. And just when you think you can sneak a fastball by this guy, he's not afraid to launch.
Well, even Peraza didn't move right away. He thought it was a strike too. Votto has hit into 12 double plays. That's tied for most on the team with Suarez.
I wonder if Flowers is getting a little extra scouting advice from Brandon Phillips here. Phillips and Votto were teammates for a long time with the Reds, as you know. So maybe Brandon has some insights as to what to try with Votto, who walked in the Reds first. So here we go. One of Joe's Ford keys. Left-handed batters for the Reds. Well, no bigger threat right now than Joey Votto with the bases loaded in the 3rd inning. Inside corner strike. Strike one has been a critical part to whatever success Sean Newcomb has had in the major leagues. After an 0-1 pitch, baseball hitting .171 against him. When he falls behind 1-0, they're hitting .307 against him this year.
He's going to have to make a couple of good pitches with his breaking ball to Votto. All fastballs at some point, so as not to walk in a run. He's going to have to throw the fastball over the plate, and that's where Votto can hurt him. So at 2-1 here, he needs to make a good pitch with it. A curveball.
Fastball lined and caught by Ozzie. What a play. At the top of his leap, Albies just tall enough to bring this one into the glove.
And it was a fastball, and he ripped it. And Ozzie had a little more time to react to this one. Where did he get up? Remember last night, who was it? Was it Schebler that hit that rocket that almost took his cap off? That was when he was playing in.
So there's the second out. Now Duvall's the hitter. Sean struck him out on the inside corner to end the 1st inning. So let's see if that stat I mentioned a moment ago holds true. Through strike one to Duvall. Little squibber. Newcomb dives. What a play! With a bare hand, he belly flops to the turf, and he somehow got Duvall to end the inning.
Wow.
If he doesn't get it, Cincinnati gets a run. You see a pitcher belly flop like Newcomb, and with a swimmer's move throw, flip it to first base and somehow get his man in a bases loaded situation.
First of all, I can't believe he corralled it, because he still, when he was on the ground, he didn't have control of it. And then the next thing is he made an accurate roll over to Freddie. That was great. That was just a great play. And to get those two thumpers with the bases loaded, boy, a little growing up there for Sean Newcomb.
Heck yeah. And he'll start things off in the third inning against Castillo, who's retired 5 of his first 6 Braves via the strikeout. Newcomb 1 for 18, 13 strikeouts as a Braves hitter. We'll see what effect, if any, being out on the base paths the entire top of the third has on Castillo.
Seeing a little Carlos Martinez from the Cardinals.
Just a very smooth, quick, compact, fluid delivery. And then again, 96 to 98 miles an hour when he needs it. Lot to like. And our counterpart, Chris Welsh, who's not traveling with the Reds today, but does a lot of their analysis on Fox Sports Ohio, covering the Reds, said in the newspapers a while back that he feels that Castillo is the best Reds pitching prospect to come along in years. They've had a bunch of prospects, and already 6 strikeouts in today's game as he gets Newcomb.
They have got to be thrilled with this guy from what I see.
So we go back to the top and enter Inciarte, who struck out to start the game. Braves got a walk and a hit batsman in the second, but couldn't cash that in with Adams, Albies, and Swanson. Now let's see what Ender can start with 1 out. And he's a little late.
He was late in the first inning. Ender had a rough night last night defensively. A real rare inning where he made a couple of miscues.
To left, and Duvall with plenty of room makes the play. A soft fly ball for the second out. Yeah, last night was, I don't know if you'd call it a prize fight, but it was, we're going to hit you in the nose, then we're going to let you hit us in the nose, and whoever came out less bloodied is who won the game. The Braves gave up 6 runs in relief over the last 4 innings. And Cincinnati's bullpen was just as bad. They gave up 6 runs and almost gave up the game in the 9th inning. The Braves were down 7 runs. Braves somehow, some way brought the tying run to the plate against Michael Lorenzen. And Matt Kemp rolled out on a ball that was hit perfectly for Cincinnati right to the third base bag. Suarez caught it, stretched, and got the force to end the ball game.
Yeah, the ball and Suarez got to the bag at the same moment.
Two balls, no strikes for Phillips, and grounded foul. Lost in last night's game, which again wasn't the best game we've seen defensively. Can't say that about Brandon Phillips. He made a couple of spectacular barehanded plays at third base and has yet to commit an error as the Braves' third sacker. Out of play, 2-2.
He missed it. Here's a look at one right over the bag. Nice pick by Freddie to help him out. And then this high chopper, catch and throw in the same motion.
The 2-2. Little chopper over the mound, and that's going to be an infield hit for Brandon Phillips. His 6th hit of the series, and now he's 13 hits away from 2,000, and he's aboard with 2 outs in front of Freddie Freeman.
Braves' first hit, and for Castillo here, he knows he's not going to catch it right here, so he needs to get out of the way, but instead he runs into Peraza, who was the only one that had a chance.
Freddie hit a deep fly ball to end the first. Let's see what he can do with Phillips aboard here in the third. The pitch moves him off the plate. Ball 1. Braves welcome Seattle to town tomorrow night. Mariners are in Tampa Bay and trailing the Rays 1-0 midway through at Tropicana Field. Seattle's offense has been in high gear of late. Another shot down the left field line, but curling out of play, foul. Two balls, 1 strike. Freddie's riding an 8-game hitting streak, batting .321 for the year.
Good swing. He was on it. Clapping his hands like, maybe the only one I get. Missed it.
Three men right side of the diamond defensively for the Reds. The 2-2 pitch instead to first. That's pulled into right field. He beat the shift. And Brandon Phillips is on his way to third base. Atlanta's got runners at the corners, 2 outs, and Nick Markakis coming up.
We've seen Freddie do that about 2 or 3 times this past week. Shift is on, and somehow he hooks one between 2 fielders, even though they're playing deep. Change up. Stayed up just enough. You see Barnhart getting ready to block it, but Freddie again hooks one in between them.
So the right guy at the right time for the Braves. Nick Markakis coming up. Nick has 59 RBIs. And hitting .292 with runners in scoring position this year. And the first run could be the biggest run. Pitch is off the plate. Ball 1.
Great eye on that low fastball. These were the RBIs that Nick picked up virtually every opportunity last year at this time. He'd get a 2-out knock.
Good pitch. At 70 RBIs last year with a man in scoring position, 32 of those 70 came with 2 outs. For the Braves right fielder last year, he's ahead in the count here. Pitch is knuckled down the left field line and beyond the tarp and into the seats. Nick drove in 89 runs last season. His highest since 2009. And as you said, brilliant in September. He had an 11-game hitting streak in the season's final month last year when the Braves won 20 of their final 30 games. Pitch. Swing and a drive headed for the gap. Right center field. That's going to score. 1 for sure. Here comes Freddie around third. He's getting green lighted. Relay throw from Scooter Gennett won't be made. And when it is made, it's way late. Nick Markakis comes through with a 2-out double, and Atlanta strikes first here in the 3rd inning.
What a great swing by Nick to begin with, and then a mix-up somehow on the relay. Watch him pull his hands in here and get that barrel to it. Great swing. And then on the relay in from Hamilton, Gennett caught the ball and looked to third and then threw home. For some reason, he double clutched kind of on it. It's like Peraza had told him one thing and he thought he said third, so he's looking to third and what? Well, there's nobody there. I'll throw home instead. That gave Freddie all the time he needed. And Gennett then threw his glove in the air like, man, we had a play at the plate.
So Markakis comes through again with 2 outs. Atlanta strikes first. It's 2-0. And now a pop up off the bat of Tyler Flowers to Joey Votto in foul ground. And that retires the side. All this damage with 2 outs. Phillips with an infield hit. Freeman with a single to right. Markakis with a double to right center. large part to a defensive play he made to end the Reds' third.
Well, let's see who he reminds you of. How about this play? Diving, rolling, bouncing, turning, reaching. Oh,
praying.
Boy, that hurt. Somehow Sean didn't have to do that, but sure did conjure up memories of a good laugh. That was just a great flip, man.
So Newcomb got out of a bases loaded 1-out mess in the third. The Braves just gave him 2 runs with 2 outs. Now he's got Suarez, Jeanette, and Schebler coming up for Cincinnati as we move to the 4th inning.
Need a shutdown inning. Got out of that bases loaded jam. Got 2 runs for you on the board. Now throw a 0 up there and get back in the dugout. Got Mo on your side.
Suarez a strike. He singled on an 0-2 pitch and was thrown out trying to steal back in the 2nd inning. This guy has a very good fastball. He used it well today.
Not a bad idea to bounce one up there after the damage Suarez has done on 0-2 counts.
Little roller hit toward Phillips. Momentary hesitation, but he read it correctly and got his man for the 1st out.
You know how sometimes at second base, Brandon just seemed to time it just right to get that guy on a routine ground ball. There at third base, he's been throwing rifle shots across to first base no matter what the play.
An excellent internal game clock was the term used by Brian Snitker to describe Brandon Phillips. He's made every play over there. I don't want to say surprisingly, because that lessens the fact that this man's a Gold Glove caliber infielder. But at this stage in his career, to move to third base, a position that he hasn't played since 2001 when he was in Double-A ball with the Expos, and to play it so well and consistently is extremely impressive. And look, Brandon wants to keep playing, I'm sure, after this year. He might be playing himself into consideration for a job with the Braves next year, and if not here, perhaps somewhere else. Ground ball to Freeman, easy play, and that takes care of Scooter Gennett. 2 up, 2 down.
Run him out, Scooter. It's not that far.
Schebler bounced out to first as well in the Cincinnati 2nd. One ball, no strikes. Miami leads the Mets today 2-1. Marlins got beat by New York last night. It's Adam Conley and Jacob deGrom working at Citi Field today. Mets had a big 6th inning last night, scoring 7 times, and that sent the Marlins back to 3 under 500. Cubs and Toronto battling in their series wrap up. Marco Estrada versus Kyle Hendricks. Cubs won 4-3 yesterday.
Big Sexy's pitching for Minnesota today.
He is. Against the Arizona Diamondbacks, Minnesota beat Zach Greinke yesterday.
Yeah.
5-0. And Minnesota, believe it or not, is tied for second in the American League, or tied for the second American League wild card, I beg your pardon. Easy for me to say.
Isn't it funny how they were driving, acquired Jaime Garcia, started going in the tank, so they dealt him, and now they're back on the uptick. Paul Molitor's done a terrific job with a group of very talented athletes in Minnesota.
Yeah, Byron Buxton, blazingly fast outfielder. As this one's whistled past Freddie Freeman, no chance to get that. Schebler's going to drive that one to the right field fence, and he'll motor to second with a 2-out double. You don't see Freddie not react to anything to his right too often. That tells you how hard that ball was pulverized.
That's the guy that hit the one with the infield drawn in that almost took Albies' hat off yesterday. Freddie playing him to pull. Couldn't get to that one. Walk Barnhart.
And pitch to Castillo. So the second walk for Newcomb, and Castillo bunted into a forced play his last time up. Excuse me, third walk. Thank you, Joe. 2 unintentional walks, 1 intentional walk with Barnhart at first base. And Castillo pops it foul and out of play. Strike 1. The Braves lead 2-0 on a Markakis 2-run double.
I like the fact that Adams and Markakis are really cheated in here. No bloops.
Grounded toward Brandon. He's got it. And Newcomb does have his shutdown inning. He gives up a double, pitches around Barnhart, and gets Castillo to roll out. We go to the home fourth.
The Atlanta Braves lead all of the major leagues with 40 pinch hit RBIs. Matt Adams with the big home run yesterday. I talked to him before the game yesterday, and with the arrival of Matt Kemp, he has been reduced to a pinch hitter off the bench part-time player again. So I was expecting him to complain, but guys, he didn't. He said, I was raised by my parents to say yes, sir, and no, sir. And whenever it happens that I have to leave the game, I want to be known as a good teammate. That's something I was not ready for coming from a 28-year-old with 18 home runs and limited plate appearances. Guys, I don't have the answer to this one, but it's hard to keep a guy like that on the bench with that kind of power. It's no fluke, and I loved the attitude. Back to you.
Me too, Paul. And what we heard and learned from people in St. Louis when we were there on the last road trip, that's been consistent with him from day one. Big standing ovation, very appreciative crowd in St. Louis for Matt Adams and what he did for the Cardinals. One of the fan favorites there, and his actions and the things he said to you in keeping with that.
Yeah, and Joe, you know, I don't want to take anything away from Inciarte, but I don't know if he's going to hit 5, 10, 15 home runs. That's not the kind of player he is. He's a defensive guy, and he can fly.
Ground ball towards second. Scooter Gennett loads up. Almost took too much time. Braves might take a look at this. Eddie Perez pointed to the dugout. Gennett played that ball very deeply and then very deliberately made his throw to first. Let's see if that costs him a review here in the fourth.
Good hustle by Matt there. Oh. Whoa, whoa. That was very close. Go ahead, Paul.
Yeah, and guys, Matt wasn't supposed to swing at the first pitch. I wasn't finished with my story. But, yeah, and that's not Inciarte's game. But when I see Matt Adams, and I'd love to hear your thoughts, Joe, but I see a great swing. He is short and quick and explosive, and when he hits balls up to the H&F burger, and he's 28 years old, I see this guy dripping with potential if he got 500-plus at-bats.
I think he's a scary guy when it comes up, especially with men on baseball, and he's a terrific low ball hitter. Last night, the home run he hit pinch hitting was up. He actually got around and turned on that ball.
Ozzie drives one past Votto. That's going to ricochet off the wall. And Albies on his way to second with a one-out double.
The trouble, Paul, is that the best player on the Atlanta Braves team plays first base.
Right. And that's why I said I don't have the answer.
Yeah, it's going to be tough to find regular playing time for Matt Adams as the team is configured right now, but that's subject to change.
Yeah. Now, can Matt learn to play the outfield? Can he become a capable and confident outfielder for this team? Perhaps so. But to your point, Joe, about the way this team is constructed, you have Inciarte signed long-term. You have Nick Markakis for another year. You have Matt Kemp for 2 more years after this season. And you have Ronald Acuna knocking at the door of Major League play down at Gwinnett. And as Dansby bats, I don't think there are any bigger Matt Adams fans on this team than the guys that are broadcasting the games, but this is the nature of the sport. When you have an excess or a surplus of players at a position, that is often used to fill needs you don't currently have.
Yeah, let's face it, Ronald Acuna is forcing the issue.
Right.
And the word have, or the 2 words have to, are really not in the vocabulary right now because he doesn't have to be promoted. Yet he's forcing the issue, and if that continues, they're going to have to do something to accommodate him.
And with 11 days until the end of August, first the pitch, and Dansby didn't get it. 1 ball, 2 strikes. It makes no sense to bring Acuna up if you're not going to play him, especially now. Might as well let him play every day, continue to work, continue to get his at-bats at AAA, and then if that's a consideration in September, you probably want him to play too. However, you've got 3 guys that are major league veteran players that want to play as well. So at least as far as the starters are concerned, so you have a real nice problem, and that is too many good players and too few spots in our league. The advantage in the American League, of course, is for a player like Matt Adams, who may not be as strong a defensive player as he is at the plate, you've got the designated hitter. And I would think Matt's skill set would play very well in the other league as a part-time first baseman, full-time DH. That's just one man's guess. Two balls, 2 strikes. That's up and away, a full count. Long second inning thanks to 3 strikeouts. Long third inning thanks to 3 straight 2-out Atlanta hits, capped by Markakis' run scoring double. Barnard took another shot.
Andrew Jones, when he got called up his first time, was 19 years old. And I'm making this association with Acuna. And he didn't play every day. He got called up in August, played in 31 games, had 106 at bats. So there really wasn't room for him. They made room for him, and he got his playing time in, but he didn't play every day.
3 balls, 2 strikes.
And he played left field.
But different circumstances, too. The Braves, when he was called up, were one of the best teams in the National League, if not all of baseball.
And as Chipper said when he came up, it wasn't just a call up, that they had a new weapon. That's why they don't have to call up Ronald Acuna right now.
Full count pitch for Dansby, who's making Castillo work here in the 4th. He forces another pitch.
I don't know, some good heaters.
Mark Bowman had a nice story on Dansby today, talking with Kevin Seitzer about Dansby going back to AAA to get his confidence back. Dansby feels like he's got his swing back, his swing that made him the #1 overall pick. And he's very comfortable, very confident again in what he's doing at the plate. And he's been doing excellent work over the last 8 games. Came in at .346 over that 8-game stretch, and he's been doing that a lot. Getting on base. And that in and of itself has a great deal of value with the National League offenses, because he's clearing the pitcher quite a bit. And that's exactly what he did here for Newcomb, who's going to get the signals from Ron Washington and some verbal instruction too.
When you battle a guy throwing as hard as Castillo is and still draw a walk, that's a victory. May not go in the books as a base hit, but that is a win. Two sacrifices for Sean. Runners at first and second. You're going to try to push the ball if you can toward third base, make the third baseman field it. Won't be easy against a guy throwing this hard.
Suarez went through the signs for everybody and then had to shot him over to Castillo. So let's see if the Reds are all on the same page. Votto doing the same with Scooter Gennett on the right side of the diamond. A strike at the knees. Looks like there's a whole lot of confusion by the Reds infield as to how they want to defend this sequence.
So they put a sign on, and then Suarez called time and gave him another sign. But both the corner guys are really converging hard. Peraza got a late start. If they were going to put a wheel play on, he was late getting over to cover third.
On it foul. 0-2.
You have a very fast runner at second base for the Braves and Albies, so they can't mess around too much or he'll just walk into third base. Reds are going to just play it straight at this point. and hope Castillo can strike him out.
Outside, even count, 2-2.
Joey Votto is daring Newcomb pull the bat back and try to swing.
He popped up the bunt and is out on strikes. So Castillo strikes out his 7th man. And 2 are out.
You'd much rather have him bunt the guys over and get them in position for Inciarte, but I'd rather see him do that than swing away and hit a comebacker or bunt the ball hard where they get the lead runner.
Yeah, 1 out instead of a double play.
Right.
Yeah.
But even in that situation where he has to stay on the bases and run.
Ender's 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a fly out. Castillo not quite as sharp these last 2 innings. A lot of pitches, a lot of base runners. Inciarte, the 11th batter he's faced since the start of the 3rd. Got that call though. 1-1. Good speed aboard for Atlanta. Albies and Swanson. And now the 1-2 pitch for Ender is smothered by Barnhart.
Barnhart knows that when he calls for that changeup, especially when they're ahead in the count, there's a good chance it's going to be in the dirt. He's done a nice job of blocking several already.
Just missed inside. Looked like a pretty good pitch.
He's still bringing it. 97 on that one. Just missed.
So the runners will go with a 3-2 count. There they go. And it's fouled away. Braves have done an excellent job of forcing up Castillo's pitch count. There have been a lot of foul balls on 2-strike counts on him. .86 pitches, 7 strikeouts, and some stress over the last 3 innings. First and second, nobody out in the second. He then struck out the next 3. Gave up a trio of hits with 2 outs in the 3rd. Now he's in trouble here in the 4th. Ender fouls off another.
Well, remember in the 2nd inning when he walked a batter and hit a batter, Matt Adams came up and he worked the count full 3-2, and he threw him a real good changeup that Matt swung through. So he's not shy about throwing it in any count.
And just look at Castillo on the mound. You can sense, or at least it looks like, there's some frustration here that he can't finish off these Braves hitters.
Yeah, that started with Swanson. He was doing the same thing with Dansby. It's almost like a fatigue, like, you know, I'm throwing it as hard as I can and they keep fouling it off. What am I to do?
Another payoff. Another foul ball. And Ender's going to see a 10th pitch. There's a change. He dropped it in for strike 3. And that's 8 strikeouts. Castillo finally wins the battle, but it took him 10 pitches to take care of the Braves leadoff man.
Presented by your local Hyundai dealers.
Pretty car and a pretty day, and an even better score for the Braves, who enjoy a 2-0 advantage. Cincinnati will bring the top of its batting order to the plate here in the 5th inning against Sean Newcomb, who had a nice long rest on the Braves dugout bench in the 4th inning. Let's see what he has in store with Billy Hamilton leading off. Hamilton's 1 for 2 and takes outside, ball 1. Giancarlo Stanton's hit a home run today. That's number 45 for the Marlins slugger. He's on pace to hit 60.
I was worried about him. He'd gone probably 3 days without hitting one.
Yeah, must be something wrong with Mr. Stanton, who said 60 or 61 is his goal this year. He's got a shot. And Hamilton didn't get it. 2 balls and a strike.
Might have hurt himself.
That's the last thing Brian Price needs to see, is another one of his players go to the DL.
Kind of grabbed at his side.
The 2-2 pitch. You He's in the dirt. Last 5 years, the Reds have had 48 separate players make 80 trips to the disabled list.
48.
Yeah. Great note by Rob Butcher, the Reds PR man. Brian Price has had his Envision lineup together 34 times in his 4 years at the helm in Cincinnati. And Hamilton takes a walk and gingerly makes his way down the first base line.
Yeah, he doesn't look good.
And Freddie's going to eavesdrop on that conversation and see if he can pick out any intel.
4 walks for Newcomb. 1 was intentional, but not a good guy to walk leading off an inning.
Now with his 51 steals and a 2-0 game with the Thumpers coming up. Think about how the game of baseball at the major league level has changed over the last 10, 20, 30 years. Perhaps no more so than the devolution of the stolen base as an offensive weapon. Billy Hamilton with 50 steals this year. 184 steals in his first 4 seasons as a big league player. That's a lot, right?
Uh-huh.
A bunt, and it is foul. Here's how the game has changed. In 1990 to 1993, Delino to Shields 187 stolen bases. Maury Wills 1959 to 1962 196 steals. Kenny Lofton 198 stolen bases in his first 4 years. Ricky Henderson 319 in his first 4 years, and Vince Coleman 407.
Wow.
Stolen bases. It is such an exciting part of the game that has all but disappeared, with the exception of a handful of really speedy guys like Billy Hamilton. And for a game that in so many ways has been criticized in recent years because of the 3 outcomes: home run, strikeout, or walk, the ability to create runs on the base paths without hits is seemingly a long lost art. Fouled away by Peraza. No balls, 2 strikes.
I'm still watching him over there, and even on that foul ball, he didn't react right away. Looks kind of stiff.
Votto is next. Just missed the inside corner, 1-2. As a kid growing up in St. Louis, used to love to watch Lou Brock try to steal bases. He had it down to a very sweet and simple science. 11 strides and a slide. He was one of the best of all time. 3,000 hits. And a Hall of Famer to boot. Newcomb knows the importance of Hamilton at first. He also knows that Votto, Duvall, and Suarez are coming up in this inning.
Yeah, I'm not sure that Sean is buying into anything that may be wrong with him, if in fact he noticed that he was grabbing at his side a little bit.
count. Both these young starters have had their shares of extended at bats.
But as you suggested, Chip, once he got ahead and then there was a foul ball, then it was one fastball inside, and it was a great pitch, but it was a ball. But you could tell what Peraza was doing. He was right out over the balls of his feet, almost fell into it. So everything after that was away, soft, away, got away from his fastball.
So let's see what Hamilton does. 3-2, not going, and it's bounced toward third. Phillips got rid of it fast. Second one, first two. And what a play by Albies. Did you see where Billy Hamilton started his slide? About 15 feet before the second base bag, and he never got to Ozzie Albies.
That's because Brandon got the ball there so quickly. And I don't know if there's been a 3-2 count all year long that Billy Hamilton didn't run on. But he didn't there.
So we'll keep an eye on him and see if he comes out for the bottom of the fifth inning. So Votto hits with the bases empty, just how you like it. And he swings and fouls one away, a strike. And he just got hit. So Newcomb can't stand prosperity. He hits Joey Votto and again brings the tying run to the plate.
Back of the right arm, that couldn't have felt very good. 7th time he's been hit.
So Duvall's the hitter, a dangerous man with 29 home runs, 85 knocked in. Ball one.
Tell you what, people have migrated to the shade today, either in the concourse or up under the roof.
Fans on the first base side have the sun shaded seats. Out of play off the bat of Duvall. Pride of Louisville, Kentucky. Played at Western Kentucky, Chipola Junior College, and then Louisville. The Reds got him for Mike Leake at the trading deadline 2 years ago. And that missed inside. 2 balls and a strike. Lined over second. That's down for a hit. Votto was going to stop at second. So a hit batsman and a single, and the Reds have a 2-out rally.
Got the double play, hit a batter, and now he's in the soup again. It just occurs to me that Sean gets very few first or second pitch outs. Every at bat, it seems, is a real labor. He gets ahead on many occasions, but then there's a lot of work that goes into getting an out after that.
About 18 pitches per inning is what he's averaged this year. There have not been many 1, 2, 3 innings either. He's given up 2 hits, a walk, and a hit batsman in this game with 2 outs. Now the Reds have the tying runs on for Suarez, who takes up and away. Got the inside corner that time. Pretty pitch. 1-2.
9 at bats already today for Sean of 5 pitches or more.
Good stop by Flowers. That evens the count.
Big pitch right here. You go 3-2. That gives the runners a head start. And that tying run at first base will get a big lead. And we'll have a chance to score on a gapper or even a long single.
So it is a full count. Votto at second, Duvall at first. Great trade for the Cincinnati Reds to steal this guy from the Detroit Tigers. Eugenio Suarez was a shortstop for the most part with the Tigers. Cincinnati figured, well, let's plug him in at third base. They traded Alfredo Simon after the 2014 season. And all Suarez has done is hit 20 or more homers in 2 straight years. And he just took a free pass and the bases are loaded.
He needs an out to be the pitcher of record to earn his first win at SunTrust Park.
But now he's got to face a man that hit a grand slam for Cincinnati last night. It's Scooter Gennett, whose slam came in the 9th.
How many has he hit this year? 3?
3.
Well, that was a huge 9th inning because of the way the Braves rallied in the bottom half. Somebody's loosening up quickly in the Braves bullpen. Double play cleared the bases, 2 out, nobody on, and all of a sudden they've reloaded them.
And it's Matt Whistler. Matt pitched an inning last night. He was called up when Luke Jackson went to the DL with a shoulder strain. So the Reds have a hit batsman, a single, and a walk with 2 outs to load them up. And Scooter Gennett in the box. And he jumps on the first pitch and drives it to center, and Ender is there. And there's a quick resolution to an at bat, and a big one. Gennett flies out with the bases loaded and the Braves still lead.
In the bottom of the 5th by a score of 2-0. Time for an Xfinity game break. We'll take you up to Detroit, where new Dodger Curtis Granderson has hit his first home run for Los Angeles. That gave LA a 1-0 lead in the top of the 6th. But in the bottom of the frame, our old buddy Justin Upton says, how about if I hit my 26, all coming with Detroit this year? Tigers on top in this one by a score of 4-1. They are in the bottom of the 8th. Chip and Joe.
That was off Kenta Maeda, as Justin Upton hit one a country mile. It's Kenta Maeda, of course, for LA. 4-1. Just what LA needed, Joe. Another guy that can hit the ball out of the ballpark in Curtis Granderson.
Yeah. They've got like 19 of them, so they're going to have a hard time figuring out where to play them all. I thought it was shocking that they sent Jock Peterson down. Maybe in some ways just to get his attention. But he's a solid part of their defense up the middle.
So the Dodgers and Tigers wrapping things up in Motown this afternoon. Here it's 2-0 Atlanta. Drew Storen takes over for Castillo, who's out after 4 innings. And Storen's greeted rudely by Phillips, who has another hit. 2 more for Brandon.
He's having a good time, isn't he?
You bet.
Hey, remember me?
7 out of 14 in the series now.
Runs a great defense. Bunch of hits, a home run.
When you look at the body of work, as Freeman drives one down the left field line, that's going to drop in for a hit. And it'll bounce into the seats for a double for Freddie Freeman. And Storen's been greeted rudely. Back-to-back Atlanta hits. Brandon Phillips, when he gets to 2,000, will become the 5th second baseman in the history of the game with 2,000 or more hits, 200 or more homers, and 200 stolen bases. The other 4, Robbie Alomar, Craig Biggio, Joe Morgan, and Ryan Sandberg. So he's 12 away from the 3rd of those 3 categories, the 2,000 hits.
All 4 of those guys are in the Hall of Fame, right?
Yep.
Load him up. Nick gets a pass.
And here we go again for Cincinnati and their beleaguered bullpen. They have been crushed this entire road trip. They have given up a ton of runs. And for Brian Price, there really aren't many good options on the road trip. 2 wins, 2 losses. 34 innings pitched, 30 earned runs, and 8 home runs. And Drew Storen automatically and immediately in a gigantic mess. And Flowers didn't get it. Strike 1.
Braves have seen Storen a lot when he was with the Nationals. Brandon Phillips now 4 for 6 against him. Oddly, Freddie Freeman was only 1 for 12 against him before that double. And they walked Nick with good reason too. Arcaic is 4 for 5 against him.
Fly ball belted deep toward left field. Tyler Flowers with a grand slam.
Fastball. He threw him a breaking ball and threw a hanger. Oh, he dropped down on him too. Look at that reaction. Just a spinner from that sidearm angle. Tyler didn't miss it.
Second grand slam for Tyler Flowers in his career. The Braves break it open. It's 6-0. That's the 9th home run allowed by the Cincinnati bullpen on this road trip. Man, oh man.
Graves scored 4 runs in the 9th inning last night off Wood without getting an out. Storen gives up 4 without an out.
Saddest refrain in baseball is same for every major league team when the pen is struggling. We have to go down there, you know.
Add on runs.
Man, oh man. So it's 6-0. And a ground ball to first. Joey Votto's got it. Storen got to the bag and makes the play. There's the first out. So the way things look right now, Sean Newcomb has a 6-0 lead, and he's gone the minimum 5 innings. So he is in line at this point to pick up his first home win and his second major league win. Ozzie Albies drives one toward left. Duvall, long run, can't get it. The ball's behind him. That trickles to the track. Ozzie on his way to third, and that's where he's going to stand with 1 out. All or nothing play for Duvall. He couldn't make the catch. He couldn't keep the ball in front of him, and that gives Albies an extra base, and he's at third with 1 out.
Second triple. Had one in Colorado. Breaking ball again, just kind of fought off. First pitch swinging by Ozzie, something we see him do quite often. This time it drops in.
Yeah, Ozzie's not going up there to walk. You have to see at least 4 pitches for that to happen. Albies sees less than 4 pitches per plate appearance, the 5th fewest in the league so far. But he'll take the results today. 2 hits and 3 tries. He's 90 feet away for Dansby. The infield comes in for the Reds, already down 6. Two balls and a strike.
Lane Adams out to pinch hit next. He's up there almost in Dansby Swanson's back pocket. Those foul balls have gone right up over the top of him into the screen.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Well, if this is the end of the line for Sean Newcomb, it will be his second scoreless outing as a major league pitcher.
Good job by Dansby to hang in there. Storen seems intent on dropping down to get the out. Threw a sidearm hanger to Flowers, but that pitch to Dansby there was a fastball.
With a grand slam extends the lead. Newcomb's other scoreless outing was June 27th when he shut out San Diego and picked up his lone major league win. Lined over third and into left field. What a turn by Swanson. An RBI single for the Braves shortstop. That scores Albies, and the Braves are pouring it on Drew Storen here. 5 hits, 5 runs.
What a good turn. You're right. Target was down and away. Pitch leaped over the inside third. And Swanson with that foot down. Hands through the zone. Inside the baseball. Hooked it. Dansby's 40th RBI.
So will be Lane Adams. The final line for Sean Newcomb. 5 innings. 5 hits, 5 walks, and 2 strikeouts. He also hit a batter.
Cut. Probably don't have to remind you that when we talk about the Braves catching tandem, Suzuki and Flowers, that last night Kurt Suzuki caught the ball game. He had a single, a double, a homer, a walk, 2 RBIs and 2 runs scored. Flowers catches today and he's hit a grand slam. Captain America.
I like it. Drew Storen does not have much today. He's thrown 19 pitches. 5 of them have been hit for hits.
2 outings ago he went 2/3 of an inning, 4 hits, a walk, 6 runs. It's a guy that was a #1 pick by the Nationals.
Same year they took Steven Strasburg. Overall #1. Storen went 10th. And he just walked Lane Adams. And another visit.
Matt Jenkins, when he was hired to be the pitching coach instead of the assistant pitching coach, should have got some frequent flyer mileage along with it. As many trips as he's having to make to the mound.
You know what he needs? He needs a Fitbit endorsement.
There you go. Yeah. He'll get his steps in.
Keep on adding on. 7-0. 2 on, 1 out for Ender, who's 0 for 3. He's up for a 4th time. It's the 5th inning. That's a sign you've had a good day. When your leadoff man comes up that frequently, and he jumps the first one, skies it foul. A strike. Rarest event in baseball history is happening today at Fenway Park. The Red Sox and Yankees are playing a day game on Sunday.
It's amazing.
Red Sox are leading by 1, 2-1 in the 5th at Fenway Park. Ender went around. It's 0-2. The reason for that, the Sunday night game is a special one. It's going to take place in Williamsport, Pennsylvania tonight. The Pirates host the Cardinals in a game that's going to be showcased and surrounded by the action at the Little League World Series. Much like the Braves last year when they played the Marlins in the Fort Bragg game. Cardinals and Pittsburgh played in PNC Park yesterday. Now Williamsport today, as this one's popped up left side. Can anybody catch up? Who wants it? It's going to be Suarez with Peraza piggybacking, and he makes the play for the second out. So our T-Mobile Unlimited Baseball break features Mike Leake and Ivan Nova in the inaugural Major League Baseball Little League Classic. And no, they're not playing at the Little League field. They're playing at the ballpark for the Williamsport Crosscutters. It's a minor league stadium. And they got to town a little earlier, or a little later than they would have liked. They had a 2-hour rain delay in Pittsburgh before the game yesterday. For the Pirates won 6-4.
This team, the Reds, had some travel problems getting here. They were in Chicago playing the Cubs, played a day game, and then after the game they were told just to stay in the clubhouse because they were having some problems with their plane that was coming in to pick them up. So they waited the designated amount of time they were told and drove through all that traffic, as you know what that's like, from Wrigley to O'Hare. And then it turned out it wasn't the plane. It wasn't the right plane.
Oh no. Wait a minute. How can you get the wrong plane?
I don't know. It was a big, let's just say the Red traveling party was not very happy about all this.
There was some red?
Yes, there was. And it wasn't around the collar.
No. I'll bet not.
They got here later than the Braves did, coming from Colorado.
Holy smokes. No balls, 2 strikes. And Phillips pops it out of play and stays alive. Braves have a 5-run 5th working. That's a double whammy because I can't think of a worse clubhouse to have to wait out any kind of a delay than the visitors' clubhouse at Wrigley Field.
And then that drive.
Tell you what, this has been an impressive game for the Braves offense, not just because of the offensive total. And look, you tip your cap to Castillo. He has 8 strikeouts as the Cincinnati starter. And this may sound like an oxymoronic statement, but I think the Braves have done an excellent job of making consistent contact in this game.
They've really frustrated them.
Yeah.
Frustrated the Reds pitchers.
Forced a lot of pitches from Castillo and forced him out of the game after 4. Now Storen's having to throw a 29th pitch. And it's sharply hit under the glove of Votto. Streaking around third is Swanson. Throw is going to 5-hop to third base, and Atlanta adds another run. Phillips with his 2nd hit of the inning, his 3rd hit of the day, has an RBI to boot.
Pour it on, Brandon.
And that's going to be the end of the line for Drew Storen, who got absolutely pummeled.
High fastball sliced and ate up Votto, who's playing well off the line, but he couldn't knock it down. Tried his best to get out of the way of it. And you watch Lane Adams. That's almost an easy skip for him from first to third.
So the Reds are going to employ a double switch. The pitcher spot for them is due up third in the 6th inning. All kinds of changes for Brian Price, and for his relief corps, more of the same in Atlanta. They have had a rough go of it. 8-0. Atlanta leads in game 3. All Braves, a huge fifth inning. 6 runs across, and Atlanta's not done yet. They've got runners at first and third as the Reds make a couple of changes. Patrick Kivlahan takes over for Suarez at third base. He'll bat in the number 9 spot, and Tim Adelman is on. This is his 25th game, and like so many of his Reds brethren, he's been hit awfully hard.
Yeah, he has. And just checking here because I want to say he made some starts too, but I'm not sure about that. Oh yeah, 20 of them. This is only his 5th relief appearance.
Yeah, he debuted April 16th against Milwaukee, his first big league relief appearance, then rattled off 20 consecutive starts until the Reds put him back in the bullpen on Saturday.
Low 90s fastball, curveball, and a good changeup.
So I beg your pardon, Suarez is going to stay in the game. It's Peraza who's going to move to second.
Jeanette's out.
Scooter Jeanette's the man that comes out of the game, so that's where Adelman's going to hit. Fun days for the Braves offense. Phillips with 3 hits. Freddie Freeman has 2 and has scored twice. He's hitting for his 2nd time in the inning, and this one's popped up. Freeman and the Braves are done in the 5th inning. They score 6 times and blow it open. It's 8-0. Tyler Flowers' big blow, a grand slam. Tyler Flowers just hit a grand slam into the upper reaches of the Henry Aaron Terrace, part of a 6-run 5th inning for Atlanta. And the Braves in game 3 of the series now enjoy an 8-0 lead. And now the Braves will turn things over to Matt Whistler, who will hopefully pitch long relief and help the Braves salvage 1 out of 3 in the series.
Lane Adams going to stay in and play center field as well. Matt Whistler pitched last night, gave up a hit to the first guy he faced, and then retired the next 3. In fact, he gave up a double to Shebler.
So Whistler will face Shebler, Barnhart, and Kivlahan for Cincinnati. Rob Butcher mentioned him earlier. The fine Reds media relations vice president sent us a note with Tyler Flowers hitting the grand slam. The Cincinnati Reds amazingly have now given up 9 grand slams this year.
Mercy.
That is a new club record. And there's an interesting side note to that. As the first pitch popped up toward left, right at Matt Adams. 1 pitch and 1 out. The previous record of 8 Grand Slams was set in 2016, 2015, 2007, and 2004.
No kidding.
So think about that. Pitching, pitching, pitching. Where is the pitching for Brian Price? Here's Barnhart. At this point in the game, you might see a lot of early swings from both clubs. As I said, Reds want to come back and try to win. Braves want to finish it off. Cincinnati 37 out of 38 days with 1 day off since the All-Star break. They are road weary. And they want to get home and start a long homestand. But no rest for them. They've got the Cubs, the Pirates, and the Mets at the Great American Ballpark starting Tuesday night.
Jim Riggleman, a former big league manager, is the bench coach for the Reds, and talking it over there with Brian Price, maybe talking about how they could make some substitutions here late in the ball game, give some of their frontline guys a rest.
A 4-pitch walk with an 8-0 lead, and Whistler walks Barnhart. Here's Kivlahan. Patrick had a pinch hit appearance last night, struck out. Leads the team with 44 pinch hit appearances. Back to the mound. Whistler bobbles, fires high, and the tag is what retired Tucker Barnhart. The throw pulled Ozzie Albies off the second base bag, but what presence of mind to go down and get the tag to be sure he got the out.
Breaking ball, bobble, cost him the double play, almost threw it away. And you're right, the tag on the play is what saved him. Throw pulled him right in the path of Barnhart. And Barnhart spiked him as he went by, and then patted him as a form of an apology.
So Billy Hamilton is going to stay in the game. We saw Hamilton swing the bat, stand up a little awkwardly, as if his lower back was bothering him. Turned it loose that time. No issues on his first swing as he's down a strike. It's 0-2. And lined out of play. Hamilton stays alive with 2 outs. Well, I'll bet our pals John Holland and Fred Stone have the visitors locker room in great shape downstairs, helping the Reds pack their bags after this game. And they'll welcome the Seattle Mariners to town. There's the 0-2 pitch for Hamilton. Did he go? Yes, he did. Hamilton will pack his bags. He's out in the 6th inning, and the Braves have another shutdown frame. It's 8-0 in Game 3. 6th inning. The day started with Sean Newcomb for Atlanta, seeking his first home win. 5 walks, the only blemish in what is a 5-inning shutout performance. So Nick Markakis leads off the Atlanta 6th. Nick got the first 2 runs home for the Braves after Luis Castillo looked almost unhittable. Brandon Phillips got an infield single. Freddie Freeman shot one past Votto, and then Nick with a 2-run 2-out double off the right center field fence.
And if you don't remember, that's because it was close to 3 hours ago.
That one right back to the mound. And on the ricochet, Adelman makes the play and throws out Markakis.
Nice recovery.
Reds are going to come out and check on Adelman. Let's see where this got him.
Well, got both legs, looked like. I don't know if he got his right hand pinched in there or not.
You know, when your trainer is your team's MVP, you've had a rough year. And Cincinnati Reds have just been crushed by injuries, and especially so to their pitching staff. So a sigh of relief that Adelman says he's going to be able to continue. Steve Bauman is the Reds' head athletic trainer. His 2nd season as the top man in the training room for the Reds. Here's Tyler Flowers. Fly ball, well hit right field. Schebler back though, and backpedaling makes the play. 2 outs. And here's Matt Adams. He's 0 for 3. Final in Tampa Bay, the Rays shut out Seattle today, 3-0. So the Mariners will come to Atlanta tomorrow night for Game 1. Intriguing matchup in the series opener here at SunTrust Park. Mike Foltynewicz and Andrew Albers. We'll talk more about that when we get to inning number 7. It's 8-0 Atlanta in Game 3. Zip after 6 innings in the run column. The Mariners are coming to town next. Here's your probables. Andrew Albers, the former Braves farmhand who won 12 games this year, was traded for cash to Seattle. He won his debut. He faces Mike Foltynewicz in game 1 tomorrow night. Mike Joe really needs a rebound start. 2 poor ones in a row for him.
2 in a row. Battle of contrasting styles. Foltynewicz and his good fastball in the mid to upper 90s. Albers, a guy with sinker, slider, changeup, mixes it up, doesn't throw hard, just get you to make outs.
Marco Gonzalez and Erasmo Ramirez, the other 2 for Seattle.
Sorry, Chip. 5 innings for Albers in his first start. Gave up a home run in the first inning, but nothing after that.
Nothing was the run tally for Seattle today as they fell in Tampa Bay. Miami beat the Mets 6-4. That's final. Cubs and Toronto tied 3-3 in the 6th. Milwaukee and the Rockies tied 1-1 in the 3rd at Coors Field. Phillies and Giants are underway. That's in the 1st. Madison Bumgarner pitching for San Fran. Phillies had to put Odubel Herrera on the disabled list with a hamstring. Ty Kelly hit a grand slam for him last night.
Pinch hit.
Yep. And Rhys Hoskins, another home run. He has 7 hits in his last 7 games. 4 of them have left the ballpark. And he's one of those big boppers that they have in their system.
That was at Reading last year and Lehigh Valley this year, just crushing balls.
That's popped out of play. Don't know if today's game in San Fran will start as excitingly for the Giants offensively as it did last night. Denard Span led off the game with an inside the park homer, something that had last happened in 72 years for the Giants. A man named Johnny Recker in 1945 led off with an inside the park homer against the Boston Braves at the Polo Grounds. Little pop toward short. Dansby's going to catch that, and Peraza is the first out. MLB.com at bat, your #1 mobile app for live Braves baseball. Stay connected with a fully customizable experience. Get Braves home screen icons and app features, as well as game day, live game video highlights, radio casts, StatCast, news, and more. Download MLB.com at bat today. Votto has walked. He's been hit by a pitch, and he was retired at what might have been the key sequence in this game for Sean Newcomb. He swings the first one and hammers it toward left. Peterson, nice running catch. And Votto's retired. Might call in the 3rd inning. In a scoreless game, the Reds had loaded the bases. Votto came up and hit a screaming line drive that Ozzie Albies leaped for, caught for the 2nd out. And then Duvall bounced to the mound, and Newcomb with his belly flop, swimmer's move, shove of the baseball to first, got Duvall by a couple of steps, and the Reds did not score. And here's the aforementioned Mr. Duvall. Told you he was a giant. Interesting note on Duvall. First major league hit with the San Francisco Giants was a home run. His first major league hit as a San Francisco Giant came against Mike Leake, the man for whom he was traded.
That's pretty good.
Back in 2014. And 0-2. Joe told you last night that the Braves moved Matt Whistler to the bullpen at AAA. This is one of the challenges of being a starting pitcher and making the conversion to relief. Can you pitch effectively on back-to-back days if needed? Can you pitch multiple innings back-to-back days if needed? Matt went an inning last night. This is his 2nd today. He gives up a high fly ball to right. Markakis into the shadows, had just enough room, and he made the play. That couldn't have been easy with the wall, the track, and that shadow popping up, but Duvall flies out, and we've hit the stretch. As we reach the bottom of the 7th inning, Sean Newcomb started for Atlanta, went 5 innings, and as we mentioned, the key sequences for him came in inning number 3.
And this little tapper into the inning on a great diving, rolling effort by Sean, who's trying to corral that little ground ball. If he doesn't get it, no way Albies gets there in time for the out. That ended the inning.
And what did you say earlier? The first run might be the biggest runs of the game. Certainly proved to be the case for the Braves, who scored twice in the 3rd and haven't looked back. That was our SunTrust confidence play of the game. You see the defensive changes for the Reds. Joey Votto is out of there the rest of the way as we watch Ozzie Albies dig in for the 4th time. He's got a double, a triple, and a run scored. Mentioned the Little League extravaganza tonight between the Cardinals and the Pirates. Little League World Series taking place today. Team from Braves country did a good job today. North Carolina beat California 16-0. Wow. And there's more to the story. They became the first U.S. team in Little League World Series to throw back-to-back no-hitters in the Little League World Series. So congratulations to North Carolina. South Korea versus Japan, Connecticut versus Texas, and Canada versus Venezuela, the other Little League World Series matchups.
I'm hearing conflicting reports, getting reports on that stadium where they're going to play tonight, the big league teams, that it's far from big league.
Really?
Patches where there's no grass for 2 teams that are contending for a wild card. That seems a little suspect to me.
Hope nobody gets hurt. 3-2 pitch is driven down the line, out of play. That was the beauty of the Fort Bragg game. Number one, it took place more than a month earlier than when the Pirates and Cardinals are playing. Secondly, it was a baseball facility designed for that game, and they had a lot of time to make it as pristine as they possibly could.
Brand new.
Strike 3 called, too close to take in an 8-0 game. And Ozzie's retired, 4 out, number 1. Second time he struck out today. And the first for Adelman. Here's Dansby. Another good day for Braves shortstop at the plate. 1 for 2 with a walk, an RBI, and a run. That's driven foul. Braves need 6 more outs to earn their second home shutout. Good take.
When you're going good, like Dansby is right now, you hear people say all the time, players say, I'm seeing the ball well. He seems to be seeing the ball real well because he's not chasing.
And he's turning on pitches now. And we pointed out early in this series, it looks like maybe he's moved up an inch, maybe 2 inches closer to the plate. So that slider, which gave him so much trouble, maybe isn't as big an issue, and he's still quick enough to turn on those inside balls.
The thing that I'm most impressed with is his ability to sting the ball now. He's hitting the ball with authority, something he wasn't doing for all too long. That's when I was talking about how his hands didn't seem to have anything to get started on. But he's doing just fine now, thank you.
He took that one. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
That little turn of that front shoulder is one way to get your hands going. Little turn of the body.
Into right center field, and diving try. Dansby's got another hit. He's going to have a triple at least. And he's going to slide in safely. That's Dansby's second three-bagger. Great try by Hamilton. He couldn't catch it. And Swanson's coming on like a house of fire. His fourth hit of the series.
Breaking ball 2. Went down and through that. And if Billy Hamilton is hurting, he's giving you great effort.
Looking at pounding the turf in frustration that he couldn't catch that drive by Dansby. So a chance for Atlanta to add on, leading 8-0. Paul, what are you seeing from the Braves shortstop?
Well, I love it. And, you know, we can talk mechanics, but I think confidence overrides all that. Let's go back to mechanics. If I'm pitching and I know I can get a guy out on a slider away, I'm going to expose that until he shows me that he can hit it. But if a guy scoots up on the plate, now I'm nervous, because for me to throw executed on the side part of the plate and the guy is scooted up, it's going to essentially be down the middle to him. So that means I have to come in and bust him. Now, it's real hard to come in, not miss and hit him, or not miss over the plate, pitch after pitch after pitch, and do that, you know, 9 times without making a mistake. So I do like the new approach. I think you guys are on top of it. And let's face it, he hits the ball in very, very well on fastballs, and he's still able to do that when he scoots up in the box.
Good stuff, Paul.
Isn't it funny for you pitchers and former major league players, what a subtle adjustment when we talk about a game of inches, what a difference it can make?
It really does. And just a few inches in the box, Carl Everett used to do that. And I hated it, because I knew if I hit my spot away, for him it was going to be down the middle.
Adams pops it up. And Billy Hamilton should catch this one. He does. 2 out.
And so it would take my confidence away as a pitcher, because I felt like I couldn't win. And, you know, Dansby has gone down and responded really well. Let's not forget, this is a young man that only got 1 college scholarship offer to Vanderbilt. He did not play his freshman year. So people say, well, he's never gone through adversity. Well, he really has. And Brian Snitker, who's no stranger to the minor league, said when you send a guy down to AAA, it's not always a bad thing. So he has come back refreshed and looks great.
Something else, Paul, on that same subject. When hitting coaches or players are talking about making an adjustment on a particular pitcher, it's to take away something that is his strength. And I would assume that when you, as you just said, take away that strength, all of a sudden you're not sure where to go.
Exactly.
Matt Whistler rolls out to Duvall, who made a nice play at the line. That ends the Atlanta Braves 7th inning. 8-0 is your score. Let's check in with Jerome for more on this big weekend, our big story here at SunTrust Park.
Okay, thank you, Chip. Hank Aaron Heritage Weekend wrapping up today, and what a fantastic weekend it has been. Hello again, everyone. Jerome Jurenovich along with Brian Jordan, who was such a big part of this weekend's festivities. And anytime we get to honor Hank Aaron, it's worthy, and it's a just cause. But this weekend especially fantastic. A lot of love for Hank, of course. Thursday night at Clark Atlanta University, they had the art exhibit featuring Negro Leagues themed art. Then Hank, of course, the big honor here Friday night at the ballpark. And then yesterday, you were part of that panel along with Matt Kemp and then former Negro League players Ernest Flynn and Jake Sanders. Living history, we like to talk. We like to call it, BJ. And I know that you were a big part of that, and it's fantastic to relive. What did you take from it personally?
You know what, as we wrap up this weekend, I got to say the best part of this weekend was to see the Negro League players be escorted on the field, because that means so much to these guys who really paved the way for myself and African-American baseball players. But whenever we can, you know, honor Hank Aaron, who also paved the way and went through so much to be great and give us a great opportunity as African-American players. You know what? You know, take my hat off to the way the Atlanta Braves celebrated for him this weekend. They did a wonderful job.
I think many people sit there and they look at a guy like Hank Aaron and Willie Mays and Frank Robinson and so many stars of the 60s, and they forget what those guys went through in their minor league days in the 50s and some of them in the 60s as well.
Well, you know, that was the great thing and the most interesting thing is to see the take of a Matt Kemp who's playing in today's game, what he thought about those guys who paved the way. And with this new era of millenniums, you know, not learning their past. But Matt Kemp, he knew all about his past. He knew about the Negro Leagues, Satchel Paige and the Josh Gibsons, all the greats that never really got a great opportunity to play this great game. I love to hear from young guys and their perspective, and you know, that's why it was so much fun this weekend.
Now more than ever, Chip and Joe can't ignore history.
No doubt about it, Jerome, and certainly we honor Henry Aaron every day we come to SunTrust Park.
I'm with you. I think they ought to break out those unis every year to celebrate the Heritage Weekend by honoring the 1974 heroics of Hank Aaron and that team. It's a great recognition.
So here we go to the 8th. Matt Whistler out for a 3rd inning. Suarez, who moved from 3rd to short, is the Cincinnati hitter. As we told you, shortstop is not a foreign position to him. He was a shortstop while he was with the Tigers organization. Suarez 1 for 2 with a walk. Matt Whistler has the stuff. Does he have the command to harness it? It's looked pretty good so far, with the exception of a 6th inning walk. And a little pop right toward the shortstop. Dansby Swanson is under it, and Suarez is out, number 1. This will be the last time we get a chance to see our pals from the Cincinnati Reds broadcast team. There's the legendary voice of the Reds on radio, Hall of Famer Marty Brennaman. 53 years behind the microphone, 44 of them in Cincinnati. And of course, his son Tommy does a great job on Fox Sports Ohio.
Great family right there. Baseball through and through.
We're all lucky, I think, to have the jobs that we have, and at certain points in our career we all have had people that were mentors for us, second fathers, if you will. Marty Brennaman was one of those for me. I'll never forget my first year with the Cubs, trying to follow my grandfather. Second major league road trip as a broadcaster, full-time. We pull into Cincinnati, and Marty Brennaman grabs me and says, "Come here, son." Immediately, Marty, with that kind of stern tone, looks at you. You think, uh-oh, what'd I do? He took me under the stands at Riverfront Stadium, and he just basically said, "Look, you're trying to do the impossible." He said, "If you ever need anything, advice, shoulder to cry on, call me." And he was a man of his word. He was incredibly helpful and still an absolute delight to hang around. There's nobody in our game that works behind the microphone that has a laugh, and a genuine laugh, like Marty Brennaman.
That's true.
And we wish him and the Reds well the rest of the way. Marty and his partner Jim Kelch do a great job, and it's been a rough go for them the last couple of years, but they do a great job of informing and entertaining some great fans in southern Ohio and northern Kentucky. Here's Schebler. Adelman, by the way, with a base hit. He's the Reds pitcher. That's not supposed to happen in an 8-0 game. Braisvat hit the Reds 11-6 to this point.
Talking about Marty, isn't he from Braves country? Isn't he from like Salisbury, North Carolina?
I know he used to do the Virginia Squires in the old ABA. I'll check. Virginia Squires. He did the Norfolk games for the Mets. He's done college basketball, including the Final Four, 15 regionals. And I think you're right. I think he is from Northern Virginia, but it's not in the.
Not North Carolina.
Bio, yeah, North Carolina doesn't say.
Okay.
1 ball, 2 strikes. And a bouncing ball to first. Freddie will take the sure out at second base. Adelman moves up 90 feet. Schebler's retired, 2 away.
Born in Portsmouth, Virginia, but an alum of University of North Carolina.
There you go.
And Shebler can hit the ball hard.
Yes, he can. Good looking player. Tucker Barnhart, runner at second, 2 outs. He's walked twice. He's singled once. There's a strike.
This relief gig might be just the ticket for Matt Whistler. It's not that he hasn't had any success starting. He has. But the last couple of years have been hard on him because he's been up and down so much. But Braves are in need of a long man, and he's serving that purpose today.
Here's a smart fan. As Barnhart awaits an 0-2 pitch. And he almost hit the Cincinnati catcher 1-2. Washington's in San Diego later on tonight. Steven Strasburg is back. Strasburg was beaten yesterday, but pitched 6 effective innings for the Nationals. That's good news for them, because Max Scherzer went to the DL with a bad neck. Ground ball to first. Freeman's got that. The Braves preserve the tie, and we head to the bottom of the 8th inning. 8-0 in Game 3. Pete Rose, 44-game hitting streak on the line. Larry McWilliams started the game. Gene Garber is trying to close it out, and he did.
He complained later that the Braves act like they'd won the World Series with that celebration.
Well, pretty much was the World Series.
Yeah, got to find places to celebrate.
Right.
Things are going bad.
Late 70s Braves team. August 1st, 1978. Our Coors Banquet, timeless moment of the game.
One more at bat here for Brandon Phillips in this series and season series against the Reds. He's had a big day and a big year against them.
In this series in Atlanta, he's 8 for 15. And he's going to be 8 for 16 as he swings the first one and grounds out to short. And And that's out number 1. Phillips will start action against Seattle, 11 hits away from 2,000. He's got a great chance with 6 more home games left to get to that 2,000 hit mark on this homestand. Seattle for 3, then the Rockies come in next weekend. Freddie Freeman, 2 hits in 4 tries. These are his only 3 games against the Reds this year. You might recall Freddie was hurt. First time Atlanta saw the Reds on the road. Little tapper, that might beat the shift. It will beat the shift, and Freeman has a 3-hit game.
He'll take it. You may laugh about it, but he'll take it. Again, you got to be greedy. You get 2 hits, you got to want 3, no matter how they come.
Phillips and Freeman with 3 hit afternoons. Markakis' chance for a multi-hit game, but he's been on base 3 times. Popped up on the left side. Kivlahan at third base. He's got it. 2 outs. And Tyler Flowers, he had the back-breaking hit in the 5th inning, a grand slam off Drew Storen, who gave up 6 runs, 6 hits, and retired 2 Braves hitters. That grand slam for Flowers, the 9th allowed by the Reds this year, a new franchise record for a single season, and they've got 7 weeks left.
That was so beautiful because Storen tried to get him to flinch and bail out on that sidearm breaking ball. And Tyler turned the tables on him.
No balls and a strike. Again to short, and the flip to second is in time, and that retires the Braves in the 8th. We go to the 9th, need 3 outs for our second home shutout at SunTrust Park. It's 8-0 Atlanta. Trust Park. Braves and Reds wrapping up the 3-game series. I didn't get the attendance.
25-7-5-8.
25-7-5-8. And Max Fried's going to come on and clean up what we hope will be an uneventful top of the 9th inning.
Good work by Matt Whistler. 3 innings of shutout relief. Only gave up 1 hit. Max Fried will be in his 4th game. He had a bit of a rough outing. Gave up his first runs as a big leaguer in Colorado on the 16th. So that's 4 days ago. 1 inning, 4 hits and a walk and 4 runs. That kind of ballooned his ERA because he hadn't given up a run outside of that since he'd been called up.
Kivlahan gets it started. He's 0 for 1. And a swing and a miss. Fried's kind of serving an apprenticeship like the way it used to be done in the major leagues. Young guys would come up, start working in the bullpen, get some experience. And as their stuff matured, their body matured, their knowledge of the league matured, they'd get a crack at the rotation and get a chance to stay there. But he's getting an extended look in relief for Atlanta. This is his 4th appearance. And he's going to get a ground ball to short. Kivlahan is the first out in the top of the 9th inning.
I love the way Matt Whistler attacked the zone today too. He did walk a batter, the second batter he faced, but other than that, he was getting a lot of early outs in the count.
This is Stuart Turner. And Fried delivers a strike. Yeah, I agree with you. Look, Matt, as I said, has the stuff, and as you said, he's had a lot of success here at the major league level. He's had a lot of disappointment too. Maybe this new role is what will get him back on track. And 3 1-hit scoreless innings will do nothing but give him a lot of confidence, and the Braves a lot of confidence in him. The 2-1 pitch is fouled away, 2-2. It's Freddie Freeman Fan Club afternoon here at the ballpark. They're all hollering below us. Now the 2-2 to Turner is grounded to second. Albies has that. And the peg to first. The Braves are an out away from their second shutout here. Their first home shutout was June 19th when R.A. Dickey beat the Giants 9-0. It's 8-0 Atlanta over the Reds today. And former Brave Jose Peraza, the final hope for the Reds. Braves are not away from giving Sean Newcomb his first home win and his second big league victory.
Yeah, that's a big deal, getting that offer off his back here at home. Big 6-run 5th inning and the grand slam by Flowers.
That's hit to right field very softly by Peraza. But he's aboard with 2 outs. And Phillip Ervin, checked in a moment ago, is going to get a chance to hit in the Reds' 9th. Ervin was called up when Devin Mesoraco went to the DL. Broken foot sidelined the Reds catcher. And Louisville, this young man hit 7 homers, drove in 40, stole 23 bags. And takes a little low. Told you Phillip is from Braves country, from Leroy, Alabama. Samford University in Birmingham. A first-round pick 4 years ago. And ranked as the 18th top Reds prospect. Caught a corner. Good pitch at 93. Down the way strike. Always an effective delivery.
Yeah, he's come back from a 3-0 count. A couple of fastballs. Just stay with it.
Payoff pitch. He is out of play. Braves will get a little extended rest tonight and open up our series with Seattle tomorrow. Braves live at 7. First pitch 7:35. Fultonevich and Olbers. The pitch is grounded to the left side. Phillips can't get it. It's a base hit, and that's going to wreck the shutout try. So a moral victory for the Reds. Irvin with a base hit to left field. Fought off a nasty 3-2 offering. He brings home Peraza, and Cincinnati is on the board. It's 8-1.
Soft base hit by Peraza. He advances on defensive indifference, and that costs Max Fried a run as this one finds a hole.
So Duvall's coming up. Back-to-back 2-out hits for the Reds. Duvall 1 for 4. Again, the runner goes, and he'll have to head back to first on the foul ball. Swing and a miss. Runner takes second as Irvin's run means nothing. And now Duvall and the Reds down to their final strike again.
Max has had good stuff tonight and this afternoon. A couple of soft hits and cost him a run, but he looks good.
The 0-2 pitch. Drilled it on an 0-2 count.
That'll hurt on the flight home.
Well, assuming they have the right plane.
Yeah.
Boy, wouldn't that be a fitting end to a rough road trip and no days off? Hope that won't be the case for the Reds today.
Thought they had a day off tomorrow.
They do, but they don't want to sit in the airport waiting for their plane to get here in Atlanta.
No.
And Suarez bats 2 on 2 out, 1 in. And a good hook.
Tell you what, there's something in that late inning Gatorade here at SunTrust Park.
Something, isn't it?
Guys got their second wind.
Well, keep an eye on Max Fried. This young man is a big part of what the Braves hope will be a very promising future. He's 23 years old. Braves got him from the Padres, as you know, as this one's hit on a line to right, and that's going to end the ball game. Fried finishes things off, and the Braves salvage 1 out of 3 against the Reds. Brandon Phillips had a monster series against Cincinnati with 8 hits in 3 games. Freddie Freeman a multi-hit game. Tyler Flowers a grand slam. But the big story, Sean Newcomb in the win column in his home park for the first time, Joe, as a major leaguer.
Well, that and the Grand slam by Tyler Flowers. Lot to celebrate today. But for Sean, his first win at SunTrust Park, first of many.
55th win for the Braves. 8-1 is your final score. The Braves will wish the Reds well the rest of the season and welcome Seattle to town tomorrow night. We'll preview that series and recap today's action from SunTrust Park right after the break.